Okay, so we've talked about Stockholm Syndrome, and now we're just going to roll right into the Dunning-Kruger Effect. I'm going to read this first sentence because I think it is an excellent synopsis of Dunning-Kruger. The Dunning-Kruger Effect is a cognitive bias in which people with limited competence in a particular domain overestimate their abilities. Man, that is fried gold right there. I've seen this manifest itself in software development in a couple of different ways. Let's say a person has some success with a particular language. Let's use C code as an example. They've been doing this for some time, say 3 to 5 years, and haven't really encountered any issues. So they proclaim themselves an expert in that tech. Turns out that small area that was mastered is just the tip of the iceberg. The image I'm about to show you illustrates how Dunning-Kruger plays out for a lot of people. Let's take a look real quick. Okay, I love this. Now, it can be argued that this isn't really what Dunning-Kruger is about, and it's not really the observations that were made with Dunning-Kruger, but it does illustrate, again, how it kind of has played out for a lot of people. Over the years, I've come to interpret the progression shown here as the more I think I know things, the less I really know things. This can be liberating. Once you break down the ego and arrogance that begets Dunning-Kruger, then you can start moving forward. We're going to look at some C code. And this goes back, 30 years or so. There was a person I know that rated themselves as an 8 out of 10 in C code. And then they went further on and said, well, because I know C so well, I must know C++. I've never seen it really, but I give myself a 6 out of 10 on that.
Guilty as charged. That was 30-ish years ago when Boss Cranky was just Junior Cranky. So I have learned since then. I think, anyhow.
So a lot of C experts will look at this and say, I don't even know what that is. And that's okay, because that's that tip of the iceberg, right? You may know pointers, you may know functions, you may know the whole 9 yards, but until you've used a particular library, you're just going to be in the dark about things. And that's all right. That's just the way we operate. And that same person that said, I'm an 8 out of 10 on C code, therefore I must know C++, when they saw this business, especially what's on line 12 for the first time, didn't have a clue.
That first example is some straight C code using some curses bullshit. I hope to never see any of that again. The second example, well, some of y'all know that comes from C++, and it still kind of crawls up my crack. I know what it means now, but yeah, coming from a C background, it still don't look quite right.
Listen, it's not that you are dumb when you say things like this. It's just that you have simply overestimated your ability. That is what Dunning-Kruger is all about, the hubris of ignorance. And really, that's okay, because the way our careers typically progress, we kind of naturally find our way out. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of people with a lot of experience that still fall into this trap right here, that are still very much at the peak of Mount Stupid. But basically, the way this works is once you admit that you know very little, you'll feel kind of down. You'll be hanging out in that valley of despair. But over time, as you gain competence and experience, and remember, time doesn't equal experience necessarily, you hit that slope of enlightenment and you get to the point of, oh, okay, I'm actually doing okay at this. The people that are in the enlightenment phase, sort of moving out of the valley of despair into the slope of enlightenment, will come to realize that the 3 most liberating words in the English language are, I don't know.
You have to follow that up with something like, let's figure it out. Otherwise, you are a problem.
That's a very high-level overview of Dunning-Kruger. Just food for thought. We're going to move right on into our next one.